Welcome to Word Speaks channel. This is the Word Woman, Johanna Queenie. Today, I'm going to be having a conversation with a dear sister, a prayer partner, and a friend. Her name is Coach Coco Ekeng, and I'm so glad she's here today. Please tell us more about yourself, Coach Coco.
Right, thank you, Pastor Johanna. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for this platform. It's a blessing to us truly, and even your prayer the prayer platform is truly a blessing. So my name is Coco Ekeng. I am a life coach and I'm also a therapist. Um, I am also a mother of two children. I um, I mean my mandate in life is to help people to fulfill their purpose in life, to live, to basically be the best that they can be, to be all that God created us to be, to live life disease free. That's um, live life in ease, basically, and just basically achieve all that we're brought here to achieve. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Revelation as a business strategy. And it says business is the spiritual exchange of our value. You said it's our service to humanity. It's servanthood. It's identifying the needs of others and providing solutions. It's solving people's problems and alleviating their pain and receiving a fee for it. And in response, I said, sometimes you do not receive a fee when you are serving. And sometimes, even when you see business as a spiritual matter, and you know that this is my call to serve, even through my business, most times you get a fee for it, which is totally fine. But at other times, just because you want to help somebody out, you mentioned when you were introducing yourself, alleviating people's pain. You can offer that service to them for free. So we said prayer is a strategy in business, but you came with the other side that revelation is the surest. So can you share on that?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a very nice recap of our discussion, which is really good because that was basically the bedrock of which this came about.
Right.
And I'd like to start by, first of all, let me explain from a God perspective what business is.
Okay.
So from a God perspective, business means dependence on each other. God never intended for us to be an island. God never intended for us to bake our own bread, make our own shoes, build our own homes, take care of our own children, in a sense, be in a state of isolation where we don't depend on anybody and nobody depends on us. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anybody to be a part of my life. I just want to bury my head in the sand and not relate with fellow human beings. God never intended for that. God intended for us to depend on each other for the things that we need. And which is why he put creativity in each one of us. And like you mentioned, ideas, you talked about ideas, that he gives every one of us ideas. He puts it in every one of us. And there's something called specialization and trade. So basically specializing in what the ideas, the talents, the gifts, the opportunities that God has brought your way, specializing it and then exchanging it. Specialization and trade. That is God's idea for business. So even when we work in organizations, we work for one organization. You are an IT specialist in one organization. You are in business with that organization. It's just that organization is, you have one client who happens to be that organization. You are still using your value, your God-given value, your God-given specialization. You are still offering it as a service. So basically starting from that angle in terms of what business is supposed to be, it's a spiritual exercise. In that, another way you can know when something is spiritual, how I would describe a spiritual exercise is an exercise that an animal cannot perform. If an animal cannot think or have an idea and decide to turn it into a service that is offering to someone else, Or an animal will not say, oh, I'm hungry, I want to eat, and decide, oh, can I wait to see let me see where I can buy this food that I can eat. An animal will just go in there, grab what he wants to grab and get, So in both ways, being the buyer and the seller, they are both spiritual spiritual exercises. That exchange of your money, that faith, that even that paper you're holding, or those pieces of metal you're holding called coins, or those numbers you see on your phone, on your app, that says you have money. It takes faith to say that is going to turn into a good or service, or that is going to answer your prayer. That's the thing that you are asking for. It takes collective faith in that for us, everybody to believe that actually works. If we all decide that it doesn't exist, truly, it's not going to exist. It's our collective faith that is keeping those things going. And I hope I haven't gone further from our discussion. But basically, I just wanted to give a background as to what I view business as from a spiritual angle. Right. Now, let's come back to revelation, which is what we have talked about. When you view business as a spiritual exercise, and I say this because a lot of times business has gotten a bad name. Some people believe that business they don't see it as God's plan for their life. They see it as something that, oh, I'm doing it because I have to make money. I'm doing it because, I just, it's something that actually brings money. But when they really think of what really is meaningful, they think of things like volunteering, or things like or things like philanthropy. Well, those are amazing things, but it doesn't diminish the fact that if money is exchanged for the value you give, it does not make it any less. No. It doesn't make it any less spiritual. It doesn't. So that's why I'm even taking us to that understanding of the link between business and spirituality. So let's get to revelation, because you cannot approach the throne of grace with boldness if there's some niggling belief in you that, is this thing really what God wants? Is this really what God deeply, deeply wants from me? You need to approach that throne of asking God for revelation for your business with boldness. And this is when you understand that this is God's plan for your life. You are actually serving God. That creativity that you are using to alleviate somebody's need, it is service. That is worship. When you understand that your business is worship, then you can approach the throne of grace with boldness and say, Lord, give me revelation as to where you want me to go, what you want me to do. What did you put in my hands, Lord? How do you want me to use it? With whom do you want me to use it? Where do you want me to use it? How much do you want me to charge for it? What do you want me? How do you want me to reach it? God goes as far as letting people know what social media platform to go on.
True.
Do you know that? Some people just see social media as evil. Oh, it's bad. It's evil. So God actually reveals to people what social media platform they should be on. He said, you go and be on Clubhouse.
That's right.
You go and be on YouTube. The same YouTube, you're thinking, no. We ban it in our house. We don't have it. So that is where revelation comes in, in terms of believing. You have to believe that the God that you are asking for revelation actually wants to reveal to you.
That's right.
Yeah. So I hope that answers that.
Yes. So when it comes to service, a lot of people, like you mentioned, when it comes to business, they're only thinking about profit, how they can benefit, and how they can become better people through their business. But again, your perspective now says that God should be the center of it all. Seek God first in everything that you are doing, and all the benefits you are looking for, even where to go, the right people to talk to. God will reveal those things to you and those people to you in business. Now, do we see a lot of people who are Christians, for example, really lacking in this area of revelation? Because so many times, like I was saying, revelation is the surest strategy in business because it is backed by prayer. And again, when God reveals, a lot of people who are even believers find it so hard to launch out. They're always looking at the weather. Oh, yes, it's good to know the right time and the right season. But sometimes, until if you really want to hear the voice of God, until you hear the voice, don't just sit down and relax that God says I should rest and wait for him. In the place of waiting, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there needs to be more revelation. Maybe you need to even be praying, because prayer has no end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you are praying, you're asking for manifestation. What means, how would God manifest these things? So what do you think are some of the things that have held people back from launching out after having a revelation?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Well, one thing I would say is knowledge. Um, there are people who have this knowledge on how business is run. So from revelation to reality, there's a process, and there are and it's something that has to be learned. So growing up, I don't know how many business courses we had, how many entrepreneurship business courses we had that teaches you how to run from an idea in your head to something tangible, something tangible that you're exchanging, some tangible value that you're exchanging, whether in form of business, whether in form of goods or services. How to make that connection is something that needs to be learned. It's knowledge that needs to be acquired. So sometimes people freeze for lack of, the Bible says people perish for lack of knowledge. Some people truly do perish because they don't know. They are kind of lost. And sometimes when you think about it, some people grew up knowing that they were going to be employees of organizations. I grew up believing that I was going to work in an organization and grow. I didn't grow up believing that I'll be doing what I'm doing with you now, that I'll be an entrepreneur, that I'll be a coach and a therapist, and I'll be speaking. No, I thought I would work in an organization, become the boss of the organization, and retire. So sometimes we've spent years of our lives learning to be that which our parents told us to be, or that which we thought we would be. And then we find ourselves in this space where we're like, oh, okay, so we have decided to go into business. So I've decided I have this idea. I want to give it to the world. Okay, what next? So that knowledge has to be found. That knowledge has to be, that you have to, this is where business coaches, business therapists come in. This is where in church business seminars are held. Just that practicality of how do I turn my revelation into reality. And when you think about it, and you don't want there to be too much time in between. Excuse me, because sometimes when you get that revelation, you want to run with it.
That's you right.
Said, you don't want to sit on it, because next week the revelation will not be as hot as it was when it first came. So by the time it's dwindling and dwindling, after a while it becomes, an idea I had in the past. And then you see somebody else doing it and you're saying, oh, this was an idea I had. Wow, somebody else has done it. Guess what? The person ran with it at that point in time. But guess what? Don't beat yourself up. Just get yourself knowledgeable. Get knowledge. Seek knowledge. Get knowledge. Understand that there are people who have studied businessmen all over the world. They share this knowledge. There are coaches out there. There are therapists out there. There are people who share this knowledge. There are people you even know who they might choose to open up to you as to how they run their own business. Just be, when your heart is open to something, how there's a way of putting it is that when you desire something, the universe conspires to make it work for you. Have you noticed that sometimes when you focus on something, you start seeing it everywhere you go? So you just you just think of Tesla. You never saw a Tesla. You think of Tesla, all of a sudden, every car you see around you, it's Teslas everywhere. So it's like what you focus on, it's drawn to you. So if in your heart you really are focused on gaining knowledge as to how to turn your idea into reality, it will come to you. It's very, very important to seek that knowledge because it's out there.
Now, when God reveals, Habakkuk says, write the vision. You mentioned that. Write the vision and make it plain. Now, sometimes you are still praying for something. You haven't had a full vision or revelation of what you want, still write it and put it there. Because step by step, when they begin to come, then you can begin to add to it. This skill that any man has comes from God, whether the person believes in God or not. So even the airplane you see today came from revelation. Somebody had an idea, wrote it down. And I'm sure when he shared that idea with somebody, like, are you crazy? How do you think people can fly from one continent to another? How can you just make a boat and say somebody can like go on water smoothly? Have you seen those cruise? There's a real full like livelihood on a cruise, on a ship, going to wherever around the world. That was someone's revelation, an idea. They didn't sleep on it. They put it to work. And it began to work for them. So many of us as believers, I just want to emphasize this, as Christians, we say, oh, God will do it. God will do it, yes. But we need to get up from our slumber. We need to get up from our slack and begin to move and take action so we do not live in lack. They say, do you see so many people who are wealthy today? Some of them do not even know God. But when those ideas come, when those revelations come, they run with it. They move. They run with it. So would you like to just share maybe give an overview of what you really do, what as a coach and as a therapist?
Oh, okay, thank you. So as a coach and as a therapist, you know what we talked about from idea to tangible? I take people on that process. So from where you are to where you want to be. I have tools, I have methodologies, I have studied it for years. I've studied human behavior, I've studied beliefs, I know how to change beliefs, I've learned how to, and as a coach and also as a therapist, you know, how to take people basically, it's very, very simple, how to take people basically from where they are to where they desire and deserve to be. That's my job. That's what I do.
So
putting it simply,
are you skilled in a certain area? Because I know as a coach, there are different sections. Are you just business, entrepreneurship focus, or you do other things?
Oh, I do other things. I mean, so there's a difference between, so if there's sometimes there's a difference between what you are trained to do, what you are able to do, and what you are passionate about doing.
Right.
I am passionate about families. I am passionate about families who have special children, children who are special in the sense that either they are gifted or that means they excel above their peers, or they excel below the standards. Challenged, exactly, basically with disabilities. You know, so I am my passion is to help those families thrive, to not be broken down by adversity, to not be broken down by not being average, by being on probably different ends of the line, or different ends of the spectrum, having them be able to thrive in the midst of whatever it is that they are enjoying or enduring. So that's my passion. You know, that's what I'm passionate about. But what I'm skilled in doing is basically just taking people from be it in terms of their what they want to achieve in their business. And you know what? In life, everything is interrelated, you know. So when I talk about families and that them being my passion, if things are not right in the home, it's very hard for things to be right in business or in career or in health and well-being. And I'm grateful for this kind of opportunity because I know you have so many people that you reach out to through your ministry, and you are a prayer warrior, a prayer woman.
By the grace of God.
The way you, oh my goodness. If you join her prayer group, she's like, you know, when you pray, she's like, my God, and you can feel the vibration, you know. I know you reach out to so many people, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to reach out to the people that you reach out to also. And I hope that I'll be able to meet people who I can be of service to, you know. And then so you can find me I'm on Instagram. My social media handle is Coach Cooks at, you know, the at sign, then Coach Cooks, Coach as Coach COACHKOKS, Coach Cooks. So it's even on my screen here, at Coach Cooks. So you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on LinkedIn, You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can send me an email, coachcooks@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email, coachcooks@gmail.com. Shoot me an email and let's talk.
Thank you for sharing that. And just to wrap this up, I just want to reiterate that any man who is skilled in their business, and that means who is diligent in their business, they will always sit before kings and not mean men. That's what Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, that do you see someone skilled in their business? So you have that revelation, there is a skill, put that skill to work. Maybe you're not where you need to be yet, or you're looking for a location. Find someone that has excelled in that business and try to make that connection, and you too will excel. I tell people that the Bible is a complete book. Anything you're looking for, any answer you want to look for in life, you can find it there. And I'm praying that as you've listened to this today, you will also connect to the spiritual aspect that will make you succeed in your business as well. And if you have any questions, you can leave comments on the YouTube comment page. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button so you can see videos as we upload them. Thank you so much, Cooks, for joining me today. I hope to see more of you from time to time. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you.